Todd, first of all, what's the update on Carlo Finucci and Liam Healis, who kind of left the game early tonight?
Yeah, we seem to be awful plagued by the injury bug right now. I think both players will be fine, but ultimately when you run short with other guys hurt, you start picking up more injuries, which is something we were very, very fortunate to avoid the most of throughout the season. But it's certainly caught up with us now.
And what's just a general injury update on the players that are missing just now?
Yeah, I know Hutch talked about it earlier last week. Not much has changed. Obviously, Ian Young is still out from that heavy knock that he took up in Dundee. We're concerned about him. We're just monitoring, and that's one that's just going to take some time for him to get back to feeling comfortable. And he's a key component of our defense. He's extremely mobile, very dynamic, and he was our leading scorer back there. So it's a big hole to fill back there. I know the guys are working hard, but Ian is a huge key to our success. So it's a big miss. Bloods and Goat. Goat was supposed to be getting a scan the last couple days. The weather has unfortunately hampered that, so we're no further forward with him. Although he seems to be a little better, we're going to need the scan to get any definitive answers about this injury, and we're hoping to have him back. Bloods has not responded to treatment as well as we had hoped. It's going to take some more time. He's working hard. He's working his cardio. And very keen to get back into this lineup, but he's nowhere near getting the green light yet. And of course, people have noticed that we sat Andy Al's out tonight. It's been a niggle that he's played with for a while. Something we don't want to get any worse. It was the medical team and mine and Andy's call to make this decision tonight. Another key player in our lineup. So that's 4 or 5 guys that we're missing heavily, as everybody can see, as well as the guys playing injured. Mosey, you mentioned about a couple knocks already tonight, and as well as Russ Moyer. And it's telling on the guys. We addressed it after the game, we addressed it before the game, and something that we really need to fight through and play through. We have a tremendously busy schedule coming up here, and things aren't going to ease off on us.
Yeah, just what was your kind of general take on the game? Obviously Fife had a great start, going 2-0 up and by halfway through the first period.
We did have a great start, I thought, and a misassignment in front of the net with a few minutes left in the first period resulted in them clawing one back. But I thought we played pretty well in the first period. The second period was a definite lull. We started doing things that were uncharacteristic of ourselves. Started taking pucks back in our own zone. Started overhandling the pucks, turning the pucks over in the neutral zone. All stuff that we didn't do when we were, consistently winning hockey games. Some of it comes down to mental fatigue, but the players have a responsibility to play the right way regardless. And they're all aware that our errors cost us a number of goals in the third period. And then we're chasing a hockey game. I thought we had a little bit of a pushback in the third period, but by the end of it, there just wasn't enough.
Yeah, just kind of going into that last period, did you feel that Fife could come back into it and try and get a point, or we're going to win?
Yeah, I thought Charlie Mosey, once again, even though he's playing with an injury, I thought he had a good skating game. Pete hit the post. That Stockton, Shaber, and Mosey line had a couple great chances in tight. But once again, I'm just picking out a few individual scoring opportunities. It wasn't enough, but it was really the second period that killed that hockey game.
This week, obviously, the big talking point across the UK has been the weather. How much has that affected preparations for tonight's match? And obviously disappointed for the game on Wednesday against Edinburgh to be cancelled.
Yeah, well, I think that that game when we're right in the middle of the storm was always going to be cancelled. But I think the team have a responsibility to both sides. You never know until closer to the game. It's like canceling any event. You'd hate to call it off 24 hours ahead of time and then realize that the game could have gone ahead. Nobody had left their houses, nobody was traveling on the roads, and they made the sensible decision to call the game. Ironically, I think the weather probably helped us out a little bit, and we had so many guys banged up and tired and exhausted from a couple weeks back to back of playing 3-3. We probably benefited from the extended stretch or just the week off of training and no team workouts. We had a very positive skate on Friday, and it showed in that first period. I thought that we came out with an intent in the first period, but they were a better hockey club in the second period, and as I said earlier, that ultimately was what won them a hockey game.
Tonight was the first of 12 matches in the space of kind of 24 days. Just how do you manage that as a coach, and is that something you think the league should look at, playing so many games in such a small space of time?
No, I think that's entirely up to our organization. We have a big hand in making the schedule. It was something that I wasn't pleased about from day one. Although maybe, it's hard to tell. Maybe we benefited from a light schedule in the first half, and that was part of the success. But it's certainly caught up right now, and every team has to play the same amount of games nearly. And unfortunately for us, it's coincided with a significant amount of injuries. And as I mentioned earlier, we've been quite fortunate to avoid that. How we manage it, the guys, I think my key priority is making sure the guys recognize that the playoff seeding is a very important thing in this country. We have to continue plowing on. But at the same token, I have to make sure that in the lead up and the run up to playoffs, we get as full as lineup as we possibly can, and we have the guys playing the best hockey they can, because ultimately it's that quarterfinal series that everybody's eyeing up now. But there's a lot of hockey in between. It's important we stay healthy. It's important that we make sure we play good hockey and eliminate things like the second period tonight, and make sure that it was good to see. We used Smitty. He probably had 8 shifts tonight. Thought he did all right in his shifts, and that's good. Players have to take advantage of a team situation. They've been sitting there for big amounts of the year because we've had 3 full forward lines, and then obviously come along the expectations of winning. But they've been patient, and I thought he went out there and I thought he did a good job tonight. And really, it's up to me as a coach to start filtering these other guys in. As you see, it's a high pace out there tonight, and mistakes are punished, and we're going to have to keep playing some tight defensive hockey to be successful in this period.
As you mentioned, playoffs, and does it get to that kind of point in the season where you start to maybe look ahead, get a bit excited about towards the end of the season, and get into the playoffs?
Not quite yet. I mean, priority 1 is to get guys healthy. Priority 2, as I mentioned, is to make sure we go out and continue to grind on a daily basis, and make sure that we come up, and you never know what exact lineup you're going to be facing or sending out there for the quarterfinals. So regardless, you're not going to fold up your tent just because you don't have a full lineup. We need to show that we can do it now with whatever line we ice out there. I thought that if we can play more akin to how we did in the first and third period, we'll be better off. But I think we have to get through this period here as healthy as possible, and then in that last week, in that run up, we have the Sunday off. It'll give us some time to rest before the quarterfinals, and like you said, get excited for it, because we have an exciting and dynamic team here. We don't want to limp out through this last month. We want to continue to play good hockey, but it's going to take a big effort from all the guys.
Just finally looking towards the game tomorrow at Milton Keynes, what's your thoughts going into that match?
Yeah, it's a long way to go, and once again we're going to have a shortened lineup. It's a team that looks as if they're probably playing for pride more than anything else in the rest of the season. Every game becomes a one-off for them. They're going to want to finish off the season, a disappointing season on a high, and they're going to be ready for us. They didn't play tonight. They were supposed to be going to Belfast. they'll be well rested. We need to go down there and we need to play a smart hockey game, and one where, you know, we've almost had to alter our style a little bit from, you know, that dynamic three-line scoring, and we come at them in waves. We have to be a little bit more patient. We have to realize that every time we have the puck in our hands, we don't have to take guys on one-on-one and try to drive it through the neutral zone. It's okay to chip pucks out. It's okay to play a smart, sensible game. It's very hard to turn that switch because they've been in that routine for so long. But we're working on them, and you know, the guys are very receptive. They know that there's still a lot to play for, and we just have to keep working.
Cheers, Todd.
Thank you.